Good evening to one and all present over here. Vikasa Jalgaon branch is glad to have today with us Ankita, CA Ankita Chaudhary Loda ma'am with us. A short introduction. She is a graduate from NM, MBA from IIM Indore, completed articleship with Deloitte Haskins and Sells, and worked as manager with ENY, currently partner with SS Loda and Associates. She has sound knowledge of auditing of technology. She is well versed with computer-aided audit tools and auditing techniques, handles mainly company audits and SAP assignments. A reminder, on Sunday, Jalgaon Vikasa branch is conducting a webinar on a stock audit hosted by Pratik Maniar. Now I would like to hand over to CA Ankita ma'am.
जिसको फोटो भेजनी है व्हाट्सएप खोल लिया मैंने ये अब जो फोटो भेजनी है जिसको भेजनी है तो व्हाट्सएप उसका वो नंबर निकाल ये है ये
Hi all, hope you guys are safe. Today we are going to learn on Excel how to make your work faster using the same Excel tools. It's just about awareness to ensure that your work is done at a faster pace.
अब करना पड़ेगा
The material for the webinar has already been shared via the Google Drive link. I would request all of you guys to open workbook 1 in the drive. मेरा ये निकाल दे I hope everyone is able to see my screen. If anybody is not able to see, can you just mention the same on the chat box? Can you start? So basically there are two sheets in this workbook. One has details of the salary for the month of March and the other sheet has salary for the details of April. Here basically we would be using VLOOKUP and filter, which is one of the important tools for your GST audit or for any other audit. GST audit being the main focus and tax audit being the main focus going forward for this year. If I go to the tab of March, first what I would do is I would do a filter for which I will have to select the row 3. You can use a shortcut key Alt A and T by which you can directly use the filter instead of going to data and then doing filter. मेरे को अनम्यूट करना
हेलो
हेलो hello. Then what we are going to do is after we do a filter, the next step that we are going to do is we are going to use conditional formatting, which you can see on the home tab. It's just next to the font tab, which is the fourth tab on the home page. Once you go to conditional formatting, here you can use a variety of options. So for example, I want to see the employees whose salary is more than the average salary of the 15 employees. So what I will do is I will go to conditional formatting. I will go to top bottom rules, and then I will select above average. Once I do the same, it gives me an option that what is the filter or what is the color by which you want to differentiate the salary, the basic salary which is more than above average. I don't change this option. I go ahead with this option and select OK. So this data does not flow in because you've not selected the specific column. Now what you have to do is you have to select that specific column or columns and then use the same method. So again, I select the column, I go to conditional formatting, I go to top bottom rules, I go to above average, and then I select this. Now the problem with this is that it is going to the total column, which is more than the average. So now I remove this total, and then if I see, then I get all the salaries which are more than the average salary of the 15 people. Excel has a feature wherein down you can see the average without even calculating the same. The average salary for 15 employees, the basic, is 9678, and conditional formatting has done exactly the same. It has highlighted all the numbers which are greater than 9678, which means that there are these employees who have salary more than the average salary of the 15 employees. Now what you can do is you can just remove this whole filter. You can also select this column and move ahead and say, I want to highlight cell rules which are greater than a specific number. So if I give a number here, say 5,000, so then all the salaries are greater than 5,000. So I move ahead and select it as 8,000. And with this, you can change this to any color you want. So if I change it to yellow fill with dark yellow text and do OK, you get these numbers which are greater than a specific number. In the similar way, you can use less than, between, equal to, and select these cells without doing any filter or without going to the filter and selecting number filters or anything. You can just straight away highlight these cells so that it is easy for analysis of your data. Moving forward to, is there anyone who wants me to repeat this? So then can you please mention the same in the chat box? The next feature that we are going to do is freeze panes. Now, what is exactly freeze panes? So, for example, you have a data in this tab, which is more than, say, the visibility of the screen. So, for example, if I add another 10 employees here, for that, I'll have to add rows. So, what I do is I select a row and I do Control plus, which is a shortcut key for adding the rows. So, I keep adding rows, the number of rows that I want. After I do this, what I can do is I add 5 to 10 employees more, which is here. Once I have done this is only for reference purpose. You can add new employees if you want. Now, if I go down and if I want to see the salary of the 15th employee, the problem with me now is I don't know this 12,800 is basic or is it HRA or is it any allowance, because the header is not visible. The header moves on the top, and as you move down, you cannot see the header, but only the rows with the numbers. To solve this issue, Excel has a feature which is known as freeze panes. For that, what you have to do is you have to go to the specific cell where you want to freeze this pane. So I want to freeze the pane here at basic, because what I want to know is employee A, what is his basic, what is his bank account number also. If I add columns here, I won't be able to see the bank account number, because there are many columns here which will have different components of salary, say bonus, allowances, deductions, or any other columns. So I move to the cell where I want to freeze this pane and I want to see all the data. Once I do that, I move here. I go to, which is in the top tab. I select freeze panes and then I say freeze panes. Once I have done that, now if I move the cursor to the right, it gives me an option to see everything that is on the right against the specific employee name, which is mentioned on the left. Further, since I have freezed the pane at the cell C3, C4, it also helps me when I move downwards, where it helps me say, okay, basic for employee O is 12,800, HRA is 12,750, and I can also move along and see the bank account number. That means in a specific table, I can see the header as well as the left side columns. The shortcut key for using this is Alt W F F. I'm repeating the same one. So you have to select Alt W F F, by which you can freeze and unfreeze these panes, so that you don't have to go to view, do freeze panes and then select freeze pane. Now, once I do this, I am able to see everything which is there across the sheet, and this can be used up till the end. The last column also, it is useful. So you can have a data which can go up to any number of columns and any number of rows, but still the data is visible because you have the header. So you are not wondering as to what is there in the specific cell. Now moving forward, is there any doubt against this? And does anyone want me to repeat this? Moving forward, now, for example, I have the salary for the month of March, and I also have the salary for the month of April. Now, what will happen is I want to see, is there any change in the salary of these employees from the month of March to month of April? The general tendency that... Sorry, I think someone had something to say. Oh, Vish. I have two salary sheets now for the month of March and the month of April. Now the basic procedure that we perform against this is you check whether there is any change in the net pay of the employee. Technically, there should not be any change in the month-on-month salary except for the component of bonus, or if there's an increment. That is the normal way in which you audit a salary register. So I go to the month of April and I see, okay, there are 15 employees. There is salary mentioned against each of these employees. So there is no new column which says, okay, there is a new component which is added by the company in the current month. I then move to the month of March and I go to the last column, after which there is no data. Now, as you can see, if I move here, then I'm not able to see the employee name. So moving back to the concept that we just learned, we will freeze these panes so that I'm able to view what is the salary for the month of April for these employees by the method of VLOOKUP. For VLOOKUP, what you have to do is you have to say plus or equal to VLOOKUP. Now, what you have to search here is the employee name, because we have considered that as a constant. So I search this employee name in the data against which I require the number. I want to check whether what is the net pay of Mr. A in the month of April. So I move here, I select the cell where exactly Mr. A appears or the header where Mr. A appears, which is employee name. And I move to the column which I require in my VLOOKUP, the answer that I require, which is net pay. I then go and select Control Shift down, by which the entire table. So whenever you select Control Shift and down arrow, the entire table which has data, which can go up to any number of rows, will be selected. Once I do that, I see the number of columns which are appearing here. So if I move this cursor, I can see in the top itself, when I selected net pay, that there are 13 columns and there is 1 row. When I move down, the number of rows changed to 17. However, VLOOKUP is only concerned with the number of columns. When we do HLOOKUP, that is concerned with the number of rows. But today we will only be covering VLOOKUP. So the row the column which I require, the number which I require is in the 13th column. So I put a comma and I select 13. Then I again put a comma. Now what it says is, if Mr. A does not appear in the salary register, then what is the answer that you want me to give? That is what the formula says. You can put a 0 or you can say false. But since this is a numbering column, we generally prefer putting 0 so that it is easy to see and filter that, okay, whatever is 0 means that employee is not appearing or is not there. When I do this, I get an answer of 18,400. Similarly, I'll just repeat this once more. When I go here to employee B, I again do the same thing. I say equal to VLOOKUP, then brackets. I select Mr. B because he is the constant person. I then move to the data which I am looking for, against which I require these values. The Mr. B is appearing in column B, so I select the data from column B and move up to column N. In case now you want to see the gross salary, then you will have to select up to row number H. When I do this, you can see here it appears as 1 row and 7 columns. I then select Control Shift down, so the entire data gets selected, and I then say I want the data which is appearing in row number 7, column number 7, column H, and if that does not appear, please give me the value as 0. Once I do that, you can see that the gross pay of Mr. B, which is 35,250, appears against this column. Similarly, you can use a VLOOKUP and check if there is any change in the bank account number of the employees, or if there is any change in the employee itself. Now, when I do this, I see that Mr. I does not appear in the April salary sheet. I again go and check, okay, so Mr. I is not appearing. Since this is in alphabetical order, I can very easily check. Otherwise, VLOOKUP is a foolproof formula. You can just use VLOOKUP and ensure that, okay, my data, something is missing. So now when I don't see Mr. I can always go back and ask the client, okay, has he left the organization, or what is the reason his salary was not processed? Similarly, now one more thing that we can do is we can see what is the average salary for these employees using the average, sum, and other formulas. You can also use conditional formatting when you're checking for the bank account or the net pay. So I'll just repeat conditional formatting also once before we move on to the next concept. I go to the column O, which has bank account. I select the entire column. Now when I want to select the entire column, the shortcut key is Control and space bar. Once you do that, you can select the entire column without going and just going to N and then selecting it. You can just press the Control plus space bar on any cell which is there in that column, and you can select it. Once I select this, I use conditional formatting. I say highlight cell rules which contains duplicate values. Once I do this, you see, okay, there are two employees which have the same bank account number, which is technically impossible. It cannot happen that the two employees have the same bank account number. So you can use conditional formatting in this way also. When you are using against GST audit or something, technically an invoice should not repeat. Only if the year is different, but which generally does not happen. Even if the year is different, you are doing the audit for 1 year. So you cannot have repetitive invoices in the same year or repetitive credit or debit note numbers in the same year. Is there anything else? Is there anyone who wants me to repeat anything, or should I move forward? Please mention if someone wants me to repeat something in the chat box. Sorry. Okay, moving forward, we'll go to workbook 2. I'll request everyone to open workbook 2. Now in workbook 2, what we are going to cover is pivot table, which is one of the most important concepts again. And it was one of them which was requested by all of the members as well, that you need to know how to run a pivot table for easy compilation of when running. So pivot table basically gives you a summary of the entire table. That is what we use a pivot table for. You can do a direct analysis instead of doing a filter or instead of using some other techniques. You can directly use a pivot table and you get to know the summary of the entire data. For running a pivot table, what you need to do is you have to select this entire data, which you can do by placing your cursor on A1 cell and then doing Control, Shift and End. When you do this, you select the entire table. The entire table gets automatically selected, or you can use Control A, by which also you can select the entire data till it goes up to the cell till which you have values. So if you have a value up to the I cell, it will go up to I. But since the data is here is only up to G44, it will select only up to G44. You can have your cursor anywhere in this table and then select Control A. The entire table gets selected. Now, once I select this table, I have to insert a pivot table. For that, what you have to do is you have to go to the Insert option in the ribbon, go to Pivot Table, and select Pivot Table. Once you do this, it gives you two options. One is whether you want to view this data in a new worksheet or you want to do it in the existing worksheet. In case of a smaller data, you can select, okay, I want to view this in the existing worksheet itself and give a cell reference where the pivot table will start. In case of a higher number of rows and columns, you select a new worksheet and you say, okay. Once you move here, it moves you to a completely new worksheet, which has all the options in terms of the data. So I have columns here which say order date, region, representative, item, units, unit cost, and the total cost. Now, when I move to pivot table, I have an option as to how do I want my table to look. For example, I want to know in the specific region, what is the total value of the items sold. I move here, I have fields to be selected. So since I want regions to appear, I select this and move it against the row labels. I have to drag it and drop it down in the row labels option. I'll just repeat this once more. This being my table, so I will get my data here. I have to select region. So I select this and I drop it down in the row labels option with the help of my cursor. Once I do this, you can see that all the three regions which are there, central, east and west. So basically here you can see there are three regions which are appearing, which you can again check if by the way of a filter. There's no error as such, but I'm just showing it to you that you can see that there are only three regions. So the data is completely covered. You can move here, you see, okay, the central, east and west region is appearing. You want to see the total cost. So you select this and move it to the values option. Once you move it here, it gives you a sum total saying, okay, in the central region, you have 11,000, east you have 6, and west you have 2.5 thousand. This is the grand total. So this is the number of the total cost in each specific region. You can also go to values, click here, and in the value field settings, you have an option to say, I don't want to see the sum, I want to see the average for central, average for east, and average for west. Once you select this average, you can say OK. So it shows you the average of each specific region. What is the average total cost in each of these specific regions? You further have an option of selecting count, maximum, minimum product. The data, whatever you want, you can select. We will go ahead with sum right now. So the sum total is this much. Now what I want to also see is against this specific region, who is the representative who is sales. So I move here, I go to the field chooser option, I select representatives and I move it to the column labels. Once I move it to column labels, what I can see is there are so many representatives. There are 11 representatives and some of them are doing business in, almost all of them are doing business only in one specific region. So when I move to central, I see, okay, Andrews has contributed 400 rupees, whereas Jardine has contributed 2,800 rupees. And the sum total amounts to 11,000. So this pivot table helps you to directly get a summary in terms of what is the contribution or what is the contribution in the specific region and also by a specific employee. I think someone has erroneously unmuted their screen. Okay, so I can see this that, okay, Mr. Andrews has contributed 400 rupees in the central region and the total sales done by him is also 400. Pivot is a very easy option in terms of the total compilation of the data. You can use it against, so for example, an invoice has 10 products and you have a list of invoices which you have extracted, you have the date against it mentioned. So what you can do is, you can also go and select, okay, so against this specific invoice number, what is the total? What is the number of items that are being sold against this specific invoice number, and get a whole summary instead of doing filter or doing some any other options for compiling the data. Further, now what I want to do in this is I want to further understand that Mr. Andrews has sold what exactly by which he has earned 438 rupees of revenue. So what I will do is I will select the item and I will move it against the row labels. Once I do that, I am able to see, okay, Mr. Andrews has sold 139.72 rupees of binder and 298.65 rupees of pencils. The selection of the data in the row or column depends on the data which is existing. Since I have only 3 regions, I have selected that as rows instead of columns so that the data looks simpler and you can view it as a one and a whole picture. If I do the reverse, so for example, if I move region to column labels and representative to row labels, it goes way beyond one screen, which may happen in case you have a lot of data. But if you want to view it as a whole, it is better to select the combination of rows and columns in such a format that you are able to view it on the one screen within the 20-25 rows in which is visible directly. So that is why we have selected this option of region being on the row side and item being on the row side. If I move items to the column labels, which can again be done, then the data goes again well beyond your viewing point and you will have to use freeze panes to see the entire data. And it may look a little cumbersome to just scroll around and see the data and you may miss on something important. That is why the selection of row and column is very important, and this will be achieved by a little bit of practice that you do on your data. within 1 or 2 tries, you will be able to understand, okay, what do I want to see and how do I want to view the data. Now moving forward, you can also do an option here of removing items and only selecting that I want to see only what is the amount of pencils that have been sold without using the option of seeing the entire data, copying this data and removing the other things and seeing only what is the amount of pencils sold. So what I do is I move the field of item to report filter. Once I do that, you can see that this is a new column which appears here. It is a new option which appears here. I go here, I select the drop down, and then I say select multiple items, because in pivot, this does not get highlighted as it gets in filter. You can see that you cannot select this option. You can only just press it, but there's no result that you will get out of selecting this. So I go here and I select multiple items. Once I do that, I want to understand what is the amount of pencil and who are the employees who are involved in the sale of pencil. So I go here and select pencil. And then I say, okay. Once I do that, I'm able to see only the amount of pencils that have been sold and by which specific employees, and by which specific employees. So I see Mr. Andrews has sold 298.65 rupees of pencils. Gill has sold 77.4. Now when I remove this and I select, okay, I want pencil plus pen, the amount automatically changes and you get a new data. You can copy this entire data only by selecting the whole table. So I do the same thing. I go here and I say Control A. When I do this, it will not cover the filter above for the simple reason that there is a row gap which is always there. Since there is a row gap and the data is not in continuation, Control A will not suffice the purpose. However, if I go here and select Control A, it will select these two but not the below table, again because of the gap which is there in the row number 2. So I go here and say Control Shift and End, but that will also not suffice the purpose for the simple reason that before this, when we had viewed the table, we had selected the data up to row 42, since we were viewing it in the vertical format. So once you have selected the data up to a specific format, Control A will not work. So you will have to do Control Shift down and select this entire data. Once you do this, you can use Control C and you can use the shortcut keys Alt ESV, which will paste the values, and Alt ESF, Alt EST, which will paste the formats. That means you get the data in this specific format. By doing a Control C and Control V, the pivot will get copied. The entire pivot along with all the options will get copied. So for example, what I have done here is I have selected pencil and pen. Now I remove pencil and pen. I only select pencil and I say okay. Once I do that, I get the option of only having the sales which are done on account of sale of item of pencils. When I select this entire table and move down and I select only pen, I can see this data only for pen. So you can also use this filter and get multiple pivot tables by selecting the various items against the invoice numbers or any other data that you have. Does anyone want me to repeat anything?
मैं वही देख रही हूँ रिकॉर्डिंग
Two sheets, one which displays update. Vishal, I'm sorry, I didn't get your query actually. Can you just unmute yourself and explain it? I mean, it will be better if you speak it up.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, hi.
Actually, I have created a sheet which shows my employees' attendance
Okay.
with a function called paste special.
Okay.
So the two sheets are linked with each other, row to row and column to column. See, if I update a column called C3 or row called C3, so another sheet will get updated. So if I sort a row according to whatever I want, like according to the salary or the
Yeah.
name, ascending or descending order, will the formula change?
I think what you are referring to, from what I can understand, is you have erroneously selected both the sheets. So if you look at my screen, if I select both of these sheets and then I do anything on one specific cell,
Yes.
in one sheet it will get replicated in the other sheet. Or
Yes,
if there
yes.
is a macro which is running which says that you have to, if anything happens in sheet number 1, sheet number 2 has to automatically get updated. So a macro
Yes.
or a selection, these are the two options by which this will happen. So what I can suggest is you can copy this entire data of the salary portion, not the attendance, because attendance you merely view in terms of audit. You don't perform any much procedure ki haan, you have to sort or do anything ki if an employee is not come on 10 days, he's not come. You cannot do much about it.
Right.
So when you go to the salary register, you can select the entire salary register and paste special it to a new workbook to perform your procedures. That way, the sanctity of the salary register in terms of the original data received from the client is maintained. You have not done anything to it by which the client can say कि तुमने tamper किया या तुमने इसको छेड़ा है या ऐसा कुछ किया है. And you can also perform your procedures in an alternative sheet and you will have that sheet without any issue कि sort नहीं हो रहा है या ये नहीं हो रहा है या वो नहीं हो रहा है. That will be my suggestion in this case. Are you satisfied or you think that no, that option is not, this option is not valid? Sorry. Vishal, are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
You can just think over it. If you feel that no, that this is not a doable solution, just let me know in the chat box. Maybe we can take this up once we are done with the last session on this.
Yes, sure.
Okay. So is there anyone who wants me to repeat pivot? Or any other option in the pivot table? So basically we have a lot of other things that we can do with the pivot table, but I am only going on the basics, considering the fact that once the basics are fine, then we can do an advanced session as to what more can we do on a pivot table or what more formulas can we use. These are the minimum basics which you can use on an invoice number of 1,000, 10,000, so that your data and your work gets easier. I'm moving forward. If there's anything anyone wants me to repeat, just mention the same in the chat box. We can take it up at the end of the session. Moving on to the third workbook that is there in the drive, workbook 3. So this is basically a TXT format. And when I open it, it seems to me like a bank statement or a Excel ledger download from some other system than Tally or some other data, which is extracted in the TXT format by the client. So this is one of the issues that we face कि client बोलता है Excel नहीं निकल रहा है because the system is different, or the bank statement comes in the TXT format because he is not able to download or the bank person is not able to give us. We essentially perform everything on Excel for ease of our convenience and for ease of viewing the data. So what we are going to do now is we are going to convert this into an Excel data and view this for our analysis. When I move to workbook 3, what I will do is I will go to the topmost end, which is near 29 July 13. I go here and I select the entire data. What I do is Control Shift and I do is Shift plus downward key. When I do this, the entire row gets selected and I press Shift and continue moving downwards and select the entire data. Once I do this, Shift plus downward key up till the end, all the data gets selected. Now what I have to do is I have to copy this data, for which I will use the shortcut key Control C. When I do this, I move to the Excel and I do a new Excel, by which I can do using Control N. So I get a new workbook. On sheet 1, I copy this data. When I copy this data here, I see that this data does not come in the required format. The columns and numbers are not appearing in the required format. And hence, I cannot analyze anything. I can just only see the numbers are flowing in one direction and my text is flowing in one direction. So what I will do here is I will use text to columns here, so as to view the data in a proper particular format and get all the data in the particular format. What I have to do now is I have to select the entire data. Once I move here, I see, okay, this data is not in a particular format. I need to format it to view the data. So I go here and I say Control Shift down. When I do this, the entire data gets selected. Everything is in column A, so you don't have the hassle of going to the other column or doing anything else. Once I move here, in the tab, in the ribbon, in the data tab, you can see an option of text to columns, which is there in data tools. Now when I select this, it gives me two options. One is delimited and one is fixed width. Now what is delimited and what is fixed width? Delimited refers to something wherein you have a punctuation, which is either a comma, a full stop, a semicolon, a space, or anything by which you want to segregate the data. What I have here is I have space, so I can use a space. Or if I want to just segregate the date, I can say, okay, I want to use the hyphen key. So I select hyphen, so only the date gets segregated. Or I say, okay, I want to go by the method of space. So I select space and I move ahead. When I do this, the entire data automatically gets defragmented or separated. And you can see the data by saying next, finish, and you can see the entire data in various columns. Now, this does not suffice your purpose for obvious reasons that you don't get the amount in the proper column. You're not able to understand as to what has happened in this data because the amount in column in row number 9 is appearing in column F, whereas in row number is appearing in column H. So you cannot do a total, you cannot do sum if, you cannot do anything, average or anything that you want to do of this data. So I will undo this whole thing by saying Control Z. I get the data in the original format, which is the TXT format. Now, once I get this, I select the entire data using Control A. ठाकुर, स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रहा है क्या? अरे सॉरी म्यूट पे नहीं चल रहा है. I hope everyone is able to view the screen. I got a couple of messages on the chat that 2 or 3 of them are not able to view the screen. I'll just repeat whatever I had said right now for convenience of the people who are not able to view my screen. Once I select the entire data and go to text to columns, which is there in the data tab in the ribbon, I get two options. One is delimited and one is fixed width. Now, when I go with the delimited option, delimited is used in a case where you have a specific segregator in terms of a punctuation, which can be a tab, which can be a semicolon, comma, space, full stop, a bracket, or a hyphen, or anything. It can be any specific, it can also be a number or a text that I want to segregate it by a specific text. So I can use that also. In the current scenario, we will use the option of space since I don't have a comma in my data, as it is a bank statement, only numbers have a comma. I don't have a semicolon and I don't have a tab. So I don't use any of these options. I only say space. When I say space, it shows me that, okay, the data is going to get segregated in this way. This will be column A, this will be column B, C, D, and henceforth. I say next. When I say next, it gives me the option that, okay, your data is going to get viewed in this way. This being an advanced tab, we'll not cover this right now. I will just explain you the basic data text to column option. And I say finish. Once I say finish, the data automatically gets segregated. So it looks like this. What has happened is, wherever there was a space, it has segregated the data in terms of a specific amount or a specific word appearing in one specific cell. But this option is not very feasible for us, because as you can see that in the first row, the amount is appearing in H column, whereas in the third row, the amount is appearing in the L column. So I cannot do a total, or I cannot see anything out of this data. Plus the description appears in a broken format. I can see the description in C, D, E, F. So it is very cumbersome for me to read the entire description, and very weird as well, because you cannot make out anything from this data. So this option is not valid for us. I do a Control Z to move the data to its original view, which is this, the copied bank statement. I again select the entire data and then go to text to columns and say fixed width. Now fixed width, as you can read here, it means that the columns which have proper spacing. I say next. When I say next, it automatically breaks the data saying, okay, this is your date, this is the reference number of the bank or the reference number of the transaction, this is the description of that transaction, there is nothing here, but still it has broken the data. This is the column which has the amount, as you can see here by method of scrolling down. It has broken this here. So what I can say is, okay, I don't want this to be broken. I don't want to be broken and buyback to be broken. So I can just select go here and double click the arrow gets removed. If I want the column to be broken at say limited, I just double click here and it gives me an option of the breaking this sentence into two pieces, or you can use it as a specific word or anything. So you just have to double click it to get an arrow. I remove this because I want this to be read as a total one sentence. I then move forward and see, okay, amounts are appearing here. INR has also been broken. And the last option has only the amount, does not have credit, debit or anything mentioned. Once I do this, I say next. Once I say next, it gives me an option of saying finish. I select that. Once I select that, this data gets broken into a proper downloaded Excel statement is what you can say. That if I select an option of Excel from the bank website, it gives me a proper statement in this format, which says, okay, by amount of excess cash, this is your description, this is your transaction date, this is the reference number or any transaction number, this is the debit or credit amount, this is the currency which was used, and this is the specific amount. This is the amount itself. So when I go here, it gives me the count. But if I want the total, I can just go here and say, okay, I want a total by saying alt equal to, and I get the total. This is the total that I get. So it exactly defragments or breaks up the data in a specific format, and it's in a readable format. Now, when to use what in text to columns is an important feature. You can do this by way of an experiment initially, because you will not be able to identify so soon as to whether I should use delimited or fixed width. And it's not that if you use delimited and the data does not come in a proper format, then you cannot do fixed width. You can always go Control Z and select the other option. Is everyone clear? Does anyone want me to repeat this? Just mention it in the chat box. These three concepts is what I had planned to cover in the session, so that it's not too much for anybody and it's easy as well, because if you do too much then it's very cumbersome that 10 चीजें सिखा दी पर हमको तो एक ही समझ में आई. I got a query from someone that please explain VLOOKUP, so I'll just do that once everybody is clear on the text to column. I am just moving to VLOOKUP. In the meanwhile, if anybody has a doubt, you can just mention the same in the chat box. Okay, so I'm moving to VLOOKUP once again for the ease of explaining. I have the salary register for 2 months, which is March and April. Once I see this, I have to see, okay, what was employee A earning in March? He was earning 18,150. And what is he earning now in the month of April? I see it is 18,400. So I know that this is not possible that an employee is earning something different in 2 months, because if there is no bonus, no increment, or no reason as to why he should earn something different, it may be loss of pay wherein he is not gone for 1 day and the salary has been deducted or anything of that sort, then the salaries should technically match. So to check whether what was he earning in the month of April, for one employee it is easy, you go, you search the name of the employee and get the answer. But for everyone you cannot do that. It's very tiring and very difficult as well and time consuming. So I start with first free space, which you can do by saying all WFF against this again, because I want to see what is Mr. A earning in the month of April. So I go here. You can put it over here, the formula. I will just go and put it here so that it is visible and easy to understand. I say plus or equal to, you can use anything, VLOOKUP. Now what I want to look up is Mr. A. That means what I want to search in the April salary register is ki Mr. A is earning how much. I don't want to know the employee code, because the employee code may be different. It must have changed because of his promotion or his transfer or anything, but the name of an employee will remain the same. So I select Mr. A here. I say Mr. A, comma, search Mr. A in the table of April. So I move to the sheet of April. I go here. Now here I can see Mr. A in the column B and not in column A. So I go here and say employee name and move up to the column against which I want the data. So for example, I want to say employee name A, what is his bank account number in the month of April? Has it changed or has it remained same? So I go here and I say up to O, which is the bank account number column. If you view here, Excel generally gives you the number of rows and columns when you select a table or when you select a specific. Even if you select 2 rows, it's 2 columns, it will say you 1 row and 2 columns, which you can view here, sorry. So I go up to bank account number. It says 14 columns. So I do this. Now I want to go up to the end of the data. So I say Control, Shift and down arrow, which helps me go up to the end of the data, which is still the total column. So here you can say that these are 14 columns and X number of rows. Now rows is not important because VLOOKUP means a vertical lookup. So it is a columnar lookup. H lookup is a row lookup against which the rows are important. So I see that, okay, this is the 14th column. Now I want data of the 14th column to appear. So I say table selected, comma, which means the end of the selection. 14th column is relevant to me. Please pick data of the 14th column, comma, 0, and I close the bracket. Now why 0 is important is if there is no data. If I get the data, then it is okay. If I don't get the data, then it will give me an option of 0 or NA. When I do this, it gives me an option of bank account number in the case of Mr. A.
On 2nd of August, that is on Sunday.
It has given me this bank account option. Now I will drag this up to the end, which is till the 15th employee in my case, and I say okay, enter. When I do this, the formula gets copied and it will search Mr. B in that specific column. C, D, E, F, it will search all of them in that specific column. Additionally, since what will happen now is the rows keep on moving down, as you can see the table keeps on moving down, you should ideally use F4 here and freeze the specific rows, so this rows and columns, so that the table is frozen, and it does not happen that if Mr. B is appearing in the 20th row, it gets missed out and the VLOOKUP gives you an option of 0 or NA. So I freeze it, I say my table is freezed, I only want to search Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C in the table B3 to O19. Once I do that, I select the entire data and I say Control C and I drag it down. Once I do this, you can see that the bank account numbers are appearing against all the employees except for Mr. I, who does not appear in the table of Ms. April.
Divided by 41,04,000 into 7,93,500.
I think someone has accidentally unmuted themselves. Is VLOOKUP clear? Moving forward, I have also sent you guys Excel screenshots, Excel shortcuts. You can go through the same. If there's anything about these as well. If there is nothing common between the two sheets, then you will get an answer as NA. You will not get any other answer. You can try it over here. Then VLOOKUP will not additionally serve the purpose also. If you are comparing two different sheets which does not have even one similar column, then VLOOKUP will not serve your purpose. So for example, if I change the year name year from say it will give me an answer as NA. What is the option for that is either insert a similar column or you get a similar column. So for example, if in this case, say your employee names changed, suddenly the company started adding the surname also to the name, then also it will not pick up, as you just saw that if we said employee AA, so it is giving me an answer as NA. But then if I go here, I have the employee code as a common option, or I have the bank account number, which is a common option. But since bank account number is appearing on the right, you cannot use it. So what you can do is, you want the basic or anything, you can add a column here, and in your workbook or working papers, you can just select this entire column and move it here so that this is a common column, and then use it. Without a common column, VLOOKUP will additionally not serve your purpose for the simple reason that it means picking a data which against the similar data, against a looked up value from a different sheet or a different workbook. You can use it against a different workbook also. No, sorry, against a different sheet, but not against a workbook. But without a common data, it is impossible. Praful, I'm sorry, I did not get your query. Which sheet are you talking about? Praful, you can message me. In the meanwhile, in the Excel shortcuts, there are two specific keys which I feel that if explained in person will be better. One is Alt-I-J and the other is Alt-Enter. So basically, first we'll go with Alt-Enter. This is a sentence, a random sentence. As you can see, it is appearing in two different rows. One is appearing in row 3 and it is appearing in row 4. Now what I want to do is, I want this entire sentence to appear only in row 3 and only up to column I. I go here, I say F2, and I say Alt Enter. Once I do Alt Enter, it moves to the next sentence option and you can select the data. Just a minute, sorry. Okay, so this is your sentence. You want the sentence to appear only in a specific cell, but not by a mode of wrap text, because wrap text at times you face a problem कि वो print ही नहीं हुआ, printing में it does not appear appropriately, it gets the font gets smaller or it just disappears. Like this is what happened, for example, in a wrap text. So what I can do is I can go here and I'm typing something. I want to end this sentence here by a full stop and I want to go to the next sentence. I say Control Enter and I just start typing whatever I want to. So it appears as a separate sentence and you will never have a problem with the print or anything when using this. Additionally, Alt-Ij, which is the other shortcut key which I wanted to explain. So for example, I have a sentence which is running into say 20-30 words or more than that. It's such a big sentence. Now when I go to the print option, it is going beyond the paper size. So what I can do is I can select as to till where I want this data, till which cell I want this data to appear. So I go here, I select that I want this data only to appear up to column H. And I say, once I go here, I select the next row and I say Alt-E-I-J. When I do this, the data appears only in the specific rows. However, if the data is extended up to more than that and I select only the 2 rows still, it will automatically go to the 3rd row and it will say text will extend below the selected range. I say okay, fine, and I move ahead. So it appears in a specific format in the next row. Other than that, other shortcut keys, all of you can go through it. If there's anything, I am just mentioning my mail ID in the chat box. You can message me, mail it up to me and I can reply to your queries. Praful, this Excel sheet has already been shared on the Drive link itself. However, I'll ask one of the Vikasa members to mail it to you in case you have not received it. Is there anything anybody wants me to repeat? Or what do you want me to repeat, Sanket? Okay, just a minute. If there is nothing common in 2 sheets, Sanket, you cannot do a VLOOKUP for the simple factor that VLOOKUP looks for the common value in tab in both the tables or sheets. So if you have nothing in common, if you are comparing it apple to orange, sorry, not possible. There has to be some common field. Maybe you can insert a common field. So if you don't have a common field, you will have to do the task of inserting a common field and then using the VLOOKUP, which we do at times, so that it is easier instead of using some other option. Without a common field, it is not possible. VLOOKUP does not function. I hope everyone is clear. If there's anything still you want me to discuss or know, you can mail me. If anybody is not clear on any of the concepts, or if anybody faces a problem at the time of practical execution of this, you can definitely mail me. I'll be happy to help you all. Thank you, everyone. I hope this session was useful to all of you guys, and you will definitely start implementing at least some of this. Wishing you guys a very happy weekend. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving your auspicious time to us and sharing your Excel tips and tricks with us. And I hope this will definitely help us add the value to our Excel education, Excel knowledge. And it was really a wonderful and interactional session for all of us with you. Thank you, ma'am. And I would like to again remind about our forthcoming webinar on stock market analysis, hosted by CA Pratik Manyar on coming Sunday, that is on 2nd August. And I would request everyone to please attend it. Thank you.